now going to go through the cut chart for the Artemis clutch. First, your piece A. There are several different cutting lines on your piece. The top is if you want to have a taller panel, like in this test version I did. This is the whole side here. If you want that look, then you'll cut at the very top. But if you want to have one plain side and one zippered side, for the plain side you'll cut at the top solid line, and for the zippered side you will cut on the shorter dotted line. And as the pattern is written, there's one plain side and one zippered side, so you'll need a exterior and a lining cut at the solid line and an exterior and lining cut on the dotted line. And you will need a zipper. The pattern calls for a number 3 zipper, but you can also use a wider number 4 or 5 zipper. And the pattern does give instructions on how to adapt for that. You will just cut even shorter for your zippered side, and the pattern does give instructions on how to do that. Your piece B, top accent piece. Pieces C and D. These are for if you are doing the regular style, and you'll have the pleated sides and the base. Also for the base, I recommend cutting Peltex, foam, or some other stiff interfacing for this bottom. And if you are doing the slim style, like this, you will cut the slim gusset. And this one does not need an extra interfacing. Piece F, this is for the lining. And if you cut on the solid line, that's for your sides. I also recommend interlining this clutch with foam or Decoval Light, or I've also used Pelon 926, which is a stiff interfacing that's not as stiff as Peltex, but it's a sewn interfacing. Piece F gets just a little tricky. If you're having plain sides, or if you are sewing the zipper pocket or the slip pocket, then you will cut 2 of the piece F's on the solid line. But if you're doing card slots on one of the sides, then you will only need 1 fabric piece F. And if you're doing card slots on both sides, then you will not need the fabric piece F's at all, but you will need the foam or the Decoval cut from the piece F. For slip pockets, you'll need 2 pieces cut on this dotted line. Piece G is for the regular lining gusset, and for this you'll also cut foam or Decoval. Or if you were doing the slim version, you cut piece H, and I cut foam to go along with this. Also, I forgot to mention that all of these pieces I've already interfaced, all of the cotton pieces, with woven fusible interfacing. Piece I, this is for both the regular and the slim version, and it's the top lining part. Piece J, this is used for 2 things: the D-ring holder at the end. However, you don't need to put a D-ring in there. It can just be a tab for easy zipper opening. So I've already ironed this piece as specified in the pattern. And the other thing is to use as a zipper tab. And the pattern also gives instructions on how to use a zipper end, like this metal zipper end here. Oh, and I forgot to mention, for the D-ring holder, the pattern gives instructions on how to modify it to use the vinyl. So there's that option that I'll discuss in the pattern as well. And if you're using this as a wristlet, you will want a D-ring and a swivel hook to go along with it. Okay, and if you're making the wristlet version, you will want a piece K, which I've already ironed. I've already folded and pressed as specified in the pattern. For lining pockets, you have several different options. I already mentioned the slip pocket that you'd be cutting out on piece F on the dotted line. If you are doing card slots, for each set of card slots, you will need one piece L for the backing, and that will be fully interfaced. And you will need 4 piece L's that are cut out on the dotted line. Those, you're going to cut the interfacing out of the side seam allowances. And then I've already done my ironing, so these are folded in half, ready to go. So I have 4 of those for each set of card slots. And I will be mentioning this as well. This is a thin interfacing, a sewn interfacing. This is Pellon 40, and I use that to as a little slight stiffener on the inside of the card slots. Piece M is mirrored, and this goes along with the card slots. And piece N is the binding for the top of the lining slip pockets. So piece N goes with piece F. And lastly, piece O is a change pocket. And I'm only interfacing the top 2 inches of this, and I've already drawn on that for the later step. So for that, you'll also need a zipper. And finally, a zipper. You can use size 3 or size 4.5 or 5, either one, without modifications.